Hey guys, in the comments recently I was just asked how I draw clothing or how to draw clothing and hair. Well, let's do hairstyles. I don't know. Yeah, you can see this one. Sometimes the pens or the pencils in this book don't show up. It's just because I'm using too hard of a pencil lead. Right. So, always draw a basic line for the skull, and this bugs me. Make sure that the back of the skull is actually represented, because if you cut the face off, it is. I'm an anatomy stickler, so. Anyways, so the hair has a hairline. Depending on the type of character, some people have like widow's peak, some people have rounder. Sometimes if it's a guy, the hair goes back a little bit further because they have a receding hairline. Generally, I try to draw like a light outline as to where the hair's going. We're doing this guy here. And men will have like the beard coming down. And facial hair generally follows like that kind of rule as well. It follows the cheekbone. This guy will have a nice big bushy beard. And then just follows the generally facial hair will follow like the curve of the face. And then depending on the type of hairstyle, hair usually sits up a little bit off of the skull unless it's like super tight, but even then it's going to be a little bit higher than what the skull is showing. So this guy's going to have wavy hair tied into a ponytail at the back, a couple of curls. Eyebrows. So, drawing men with short hair. Again, you draw the skull or the head shape. Always put down your basic shape first, especially when you're learning. It will help you out immensely. Just to guide yourself to where the hair is going. So a guy with short hair, again, you just kind of do a light outline as to where the hair ends. The crown of the head, generally it does this. It has like a spiral effect, so that's why you get the dudes with the little flick at the back, because the hair is doing this spiral effect out. And then depending on the type of hair you're doing, this guy a little bit of a shag, spiky cut. You just, again, hair has volume. It's many different strands, and don't try and group, like draw all the individual strands. Like you kind of just, you do a few of them to give a feel of what the hair is doing, but draw your hair in clumps. Like it's a lot easier to handle hair if you're drawing it in clumps. Give him a little bit of a different nose. Women's hair is the same thing as men's hair. Men and women can have the same hair. Facial hair is a little bit different, but generally you do the same thing. You Give yourself an outline as to where the front part of the hair is going. You don't have to follow that depending on what you're doing. Like, it's just a guideline. And again, the hair has volume, so you just make sure that you're running the strands or the clumps around the skull. And remember, again, remember shapes. Everything in art is a shape. It's shape recognition. So we've got that, and then leave braid. Now when you're detailing your hair, a few strands to detail it is usually enough, depending on how detailed you want your work as well. Like, it's kind of, this is like a basic overview of how you do things. You can do it as detailed or as undetailed as you wish. And look at hairstyles as well. Like, and when you're looking at a hairstyle, try and draw it in its basic shape form, and you'll be able to do it a little bit easier. It's a lot easier to break down things into basic shapes and then add details over top than it is to just go straight to the detail. And it took me years to figure that out. Okay, so I will show you a picture. Let's find someone with some cool hair. I looked up costuming, so... Okay, this is easy. So this, I'll just show you, is the hairstyle I'm going to be doing. My Pinterest board. So you quickly like throw down the head shape, because the head will dictate the way the hair's going to go. Like, well, right? And then everything else is just styling. So when I'm starting out, I generally try and get the basic shape down of the hair, and then I'll start breaking up the shapes to create the illusion, which is all art is, again, is an illusion of the hair form. And then if you're shading, hair's got a natural sheen to it. Unless it's like matted in mud, it's got a natural sheen to it. All hair has a natural sheen, so you can just shade in that, and keeping in mind the shapes that you built for the hair. And put the headband on. Sorry. Hair tutorial.